Welcome back. Now, over 20 billion rand in irregular expenditure by municipalities over the last year. This is the bleak outcome of the Auditor General's findings. The AG has released audit outcomes of municipalities for the years 2020 to 2021. While Ekurhuleni and Midvaal got clean audits, the Eastern Cape is moving backwards. Let's chat to senior reporter Aviwe Mdila, who is at the AG's presenting her report. Aviwe, 20 billion rand, but a little earlier on she was telling you that this number might be even higher. Why? What is she attributing that to?
It could be more because, Maseko, there are municipalities that haven't even handed in their audits. So those municipalities that haven't even been counted part of those that form part of the disclaimer audit opinions. When you look at the municipalities in their entirety, 257 in South Africa, and when the Auditor General went knocking to these municipalities the first time around, only 62 had credible financial statements. I want you to take that in. That's around 25%, meaning that a staggering 75% didn't have their finances in order when the Auditor General first went knocking at their doors. So, but when the outcomes came, now finally she compiled a report, it now talks to at least around half of those that basically have qualified audit reports or the disclaimer audit opinions, which is the worst kind, some of those that even haven't handed in their audits. But when you look at the last 5 years, Maseko, it paints a grim picture where the Auditor General Maluleke says that there have been no improvements, there have been no accountability, there's been no performance or any accountability at all. That would paint a grim picture of what's been happening in our municipalities, and that figure, more than 20 billion rand that's been spent irregularly, that will talk to the corruption and just money that's been wasted and squandered. But she says that the figure could be more, as we caught up with her a bit earlier on. Let's take a listen to the Auditor General.
Over the last year, we reported 20 billion rand of irregular expenditure, but that number is completely misguided in that we know it is incomplete. At least a third of municipalities are qualified on the completeness of their irregular expenditure. So even telling you 20 billion rand, we know it's much, much higher. Some of it is fraud and leakage, which is why when we looked at the repeat disclaimers, which is the worst audit opinion a municipality can get, and we should all have a stance that says it is intolerable that a municipality should be able to spend public funds and not be able to account for what they've done with that money.
And Aviwe, the Free State and the Eastern Cape, tell me more about those two provinces. It explains why so many service delivery protests there.
Exactly, directly correlating to what's been happening with the municipality funds and how then it relates to the lack of service delivery that we're seeing. In the Free State, for example, we are told that it has regressed over the last 5 years with no clean audit over the last 5 years. There's been lack of accountability when it comes both to the political and also the governance in terms of holding those that are supposed to be held accountable into account. You look at those with the outstanding reports and you see there that 7 of those municipalities are in the Free State. Also those with qualified audits, 7 of them also being in the Free State. Something that the Auditor General once again touched on, saying that those are direct implications of what we're seeing on the ground, lack of service delivery, which then results in the service delivery protests that we see time and again. Let's listen in once more to Maluleke.
The state of the Free State municipalities, that one continues to deteriorate in the face of inaction by political and administrative leaders. The culture of late and non-submission is pretty high in this particular province. Whilst the metro is unqualified, it has got major management and governance problems which lead to service delivery collapse. And as you know, that metro is under administration. When we meet our teams, because as part of preparing this report, we've had occasion to visit with each of our teams in the different provinces. And our teams in the Free State lament about the notion that there is no clean audit in the Free State, and there hasn't been for a long time. Now, that lamentation is not of them really speaking as technical auditors. It's them speaking as the residents of that province, as people who are directly affected by the service delivery failings in the different municipalities. They are the people who grew up in different parts of the province, and they see the deterioration. So when they talk with pain about the state of the collapse of local government in the Free State, you really get a sense of what it is like to live in the Free State.
All right, Aviwe, you asked a very important question to the AG a little earlier on in terms of accountability. And I was telling you during a short break that she actually said in her own words there's a tolerance for poor performance. So who takes account? Because it looks like all spheres of government are tolerating their poor performance.
Well, the buck really stops with government itself. You look at COGTA, who's supposed to be holding all these municipalities, whether provincial, going into the local municipality, even the district municipality. It's where the buck stops. The Auditor General themselves have given them more power over the last 3 years, but that's not enough. They're trying to even look at different measures where they look, for example, at these disclaimer or audit opinions, those municipalities, taking 10 of them, but still they don't get them to account. Their municipalities, though, don't hand in their financial records, so they can't keep track of exactly what's been happening, all the fraud and corruption that's been happening. Hence, she says that it could be way more than the 20 billion rand that's been irregularly spent. But the buck really stops at government in holding the municipal managers and the CFOs of these various municipalities to account.
And of course, I would be interested in what Selga has to say about this latest report. Senior reporter Aviwe Mtila in studio with us, giving us an update on that report by the AG. Let's